more than just an absence of people. It's the feeling that even when you're surrounded by others, something essential is missing. A gnawing emptiness that seems to stretch forever, making you question your worth, your place in the world. But loneliness, as overwhelming as it feels, is not a permanent state. It's a feeling, a moment. It does not define you, and you can find your way out of it. And it begins right now with understanding that you're not alone in feeling this way. Loneliness, a word that feels heavy, a weight that presses against your chest like a constant reminder that something's missing. It comes in waves, washing over you when the world around you feels too loud or too quiet. It's that feeling of being disconnected no matter how many people are around you. Recognize that loneliness is not a sign of weakness, but a natural part of being human. Everyone experiences it. People who seem happy, confident, or together feel it too. It's easy to assume that those around you don't understand, but in truth, we all carry the same struggles. Loneliness doesn't always come from being alone. Sometimes it comes from feeling disconnected, as if you're missing a deeper connection to others, to yourself, or to the world around you. A longing that no one seems to understand, not even you. At times, reach out. The isolation we feel is often amplified by the silence we create around ourselves. It's easy to pull away, to close ourselves off, but the first step to overcoming loneliness is breaking that silence. It starts with a simple act, reaching out to someone, even when it feels difficult. Sometimes the hardest part is taking that first step, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a long conversation. Just a small opening. A hello can be the bridge that helps you move beyond isolation. Explore new spaces. Sometimes the loneliness we feel stems from staying in the same routines and places. Branching out, trying new activities, or meeting new people can help break the cycle of isolation. You don't need to change everything all at once, but every new experience creates an opportunity for connection. By exploring new places and experiences, you not only expose yourself to new people, but also create new opportunities for meaningful connections. There are people out there who, like you, are looking for companionship, understanding, and kindness. You don't have to go through this journey alone. Practice self-compassion. Loneliness can often bring harsh self-judgment. We blame ourselves for not fitting in, for not being enough. But it's important to remember you are enough just as you are. Loneliness is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply an emotion to feel, process, and move through. When we practice self-compassion, we give ourselves permission to be human, to feel what we feel without judgment. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to be present with yourself, allowing the moments of loneliness to pass through, knowing they are temporary. Embrace vulnerability. Loneliness often thrives in the spaces where we feel we have to hide who we really are. But it's in those moments of vulnerability that true connection happens. It's when you allow yourself to be seen as you truly are, that you invite others to do the same. It's okay to let people in, to share your story, your struggles. When you allow others to see you as you are, you open the door to real, authentic relationships. And when you show kindness and openness, you invite others to offer the same in return. And stillness. In a world full of noise, the most profound connection can happen in moments of quiet. Take time to be with yourself. Embrace solitude not as a punishment, but as an opportunity to reconnect with who you are and what you need. Sometimes we have to be alone to rediscover ourselves. Through stillness, we learn to understand our own emotions more clearly. We begin to see that loneliness is not something to fear, but something to learn from. It teaches us how to be more in tune with ourselves, how to find comfort in our own company. From that space of inner peace, you'll find your way back to connection. Get involved. Volunteering or participating in community activities can help you break free from the isolation that loneliness breeds. Helping others often leads to the discovery of your own sense of purpose, and the connections you make in the process are often deeper and more meaningful. Giving of yourself to others not only provides a sense of fulfillment, but also brings you closer to people who care. By engaging with your community and supporting others, you create a web of connection that stretches beyond loneliness. Keep moving forward. Overcoming loneliness is not a one-time event, but a journey. Some days will be easier than others, and that's okay. The key is to keep going, to keep seeking connection, and to keep being kind to yourself along the way, not every step forward. And no matter how small is a step toward healing, every conversation, every shared moment brings you closer to the connection and belonging you deserve. Remember, loneliness is only a chapter in your story. The next chapter is filled with love, with people who will understand, and with moments that remind you that you are never truly alone. And finally, keep moving forward. Every day is an opportunity to take one more step towards connection, to learn something new about yourself and others. Even if loneliness visits you again, you'll know you have the tools to face it, to reach out, and to embrace the beauty of both your own company and the companionship of others. It's easy to feel like you're the only one who struggles with loneliness, to think that no one else could possibly understand what you're going through. But in truth, loneliness is something we all face. It is part of the human experience, and it doesn't define who you are. You are not your loneliness. Acknowledge the feeling. It's okay to feel lonely. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means that you're longing for connection, and that's natural. We are all wired for relationships, but sometimes it can feel like a void, something that we can't fill no matter how hard we try. We often compare ourselves to others, scrolling through images of people who seem to have it all together. It's easy to feel even more isolated when the world appears so full of connection. But remember, everyone, no matter how social they seem, has faced their own battles with loneliness. You are not alone in this. Reach out. In moments of loneliness, it's tempting to retreat inward, to convince yourself that you don't need anyone. But connection, even small moments, can make a world of difference. And don't wait for others to reach out. Be the one to take the first step. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture, just a simple hello, a shared thought, or even an invitation to talk. Reaching out is the first step in breaking through the barrier of loneliness. It's okay to take that step, even if it feels scary. People are more open than we realize, and sometimes they're waiting for someone to start the conversation. We seek new experiences. Sometimes, to overcome loneliness, we need to step outside our usual routine and open ourselves to new opportunities for connection. Join a class, participate in a hobby, or volunteer in your community. The simple act of being around others, especially people who share similar interests, can create natural bonds. New experiences can be intimidating, but they also offer the chance to meet people who are in similar places, looking for connection too. By engaging with the world in new ways, you start to see that loneliness is not an unchangeable state. It's something you can transform. Embrace vulnerability. Opening up to others can feel daunting, especially when you've been on for a while. But it's through vulnerability that true connections are formed. When we allow ourselves to be seen without walls, we invite others to do the same. True connection happens when you share your true self with others. It might feel risky at first, but being open can lead to deeper relationships and the discovery that we all have our struggles. You'll realize that you're not as alone as you might have thought. Practice self-compassion. Loneliness is not a flaw, and you don't need to be fixed. You are whole as you are, even in your moments of solitude. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend who is struggling. When we practice self-compassion, we release the shame that can often accompany loneliness. We stop seeing it as something to be ashamed of and start seeing it as part of the human condition. By being gentle with ourselves, we start to heal from the inside out. Embrace the stillness. In the hustle and bustle of life, sometimes loneliness is the space where we can reflect, grow, and reset. Instead of pushing it away, allow yourself to sit in the quiet for a while. It's in those moments that you can truly reconnect with yourself, your thoughts, and your feelings. Loneliness is not something that defines us. It's just a passing moment, one that can lead to greater self-awareness, deeper connections, and even greater peace. When you embrace both your solitude and your need for connection, you begin to understand that loneliness is just a phase, not a destination. The loneliness doesn't have to last. You have the power to create the connections you seek. And when you do, you'll find that not only will you overcome loneliness, but you'll discover a strength, resilience, and sense of belonging that was there all along. Remember, you are never truly alone in your experience. The world is full of people just waiting to connect. Take that first step, reach out, and trust that the path to belonging begins with you. listening. Thank you for understanding. And thank you for walking this journey with me.